Hello my fellow Bereans. Today we're going to do a flip through of the book of Genesis just to see the notes and the inserts that I've added. And I want to start by saying a thank you to Watchman Kim for her donation support to the channel. I really appreciate you coming beside me in this ministry. So as we go through, you'll see inserts that I've added. And if this is your first time visiting, I just want to let you know that these are free inserts. And if you're a longtime viewer, you've seen these inserts in one of my other videos, and I don't believe I've added anything new, but you can just email me and I will send out any of the inserts. So these are all ones that I found online. Actually, I'll go back here. This is something I stuck right before the Old Testament page. These are a few timelines, and then I did it on legal size paper so I could put this big timeline of biblical history and have it very large and pull out. So that's something. And if you're unfamiliar with this process, you cut your insert to size and run a glue stick around the edge. And I do have a video on my channel about that process. So those are timelines. Here's a little cartoony timeline. I just thought it was really cute. And it goes through to the birth of Christ. So it's the Old Testament in cartoon format, just seeing the order of things and some of the highlights. And then here on this page are the 7 days of creation. One thing about this is it's starting to come up, and I'm not gluing it back in. What I would do is just fold it up a little bit and add some glue and stick it back in. But I am wondering, should I be having anything else in here? I think I'm just gonna leave it with this as my starting insert. I'm just not sure, so I haven't re-glued it in. As I've mentioned in the past, I like using the Elmer's school glue because I like that it will come up. So if I make changes, I can do that. I just need to wait till this decides it's tired. I think the more you use this section of the Bible, it just starts to come up. And so this one, I have a hard time remembering what happened on which day. So this is a visual of that. And something I want to remember is that God created something for 6 days, and then on the 7th day, it says he blessed it, he sanctified it, and he rested on the 7th day. And in Hebrews 4, we are reminded that the Sabbath is there to connect with our Heavenly Father, and that in Jesus we have a recreation. But he does limit it to a certain day. In Hebrews 4, it says that. And it's very interesting for evolutionists. We have the waters gathered, the land appears, plant life starts to grow on day 3, but the sun and the moon were not created until day 4. So if this was actually thousands of years, like Christian evolutionists say, that would be a long time for the plant life to go without the sun. So now we get to the book of Genesis, and if this is your first video with me, I just want to explain one thing quickly, that what I choose to keep in this Bible are linking Bible verses that clarify other parts of the Bible. So that's one thing you'll see in my Bible. And then maybe putting a lot of Bible verses together to explain a concept. You'll see that as we go through. And for me, I'm very thankful when I have a lot of extra space. I don't add notes unless I really feel it's important, essential for me to have that information. I don't restate what's here unless it's something where I really need that to stand out. I try and do that as little as possible. You will see that sometimes. So let's go ahead and look at what I've chosen to have for notes on here. I'm going to zoom out for just a moment and say it's been humorous making this video. When I first started, I thought I was going to go through and do the whole book of Genesis in one video. And then as I started filming, I was rushing through to just share my notes and not go to those different places in the Bible. And I thought this is just a very empty study, and it just is not going to work for me, at least. I don't know about anybody else. And so I stopped. So I'm just going to give you a quick glance at my notes. There are some places where there aren't a lot of notes, and then other places where there's a lot, and there's some really interesting things that I've learned. So I'm really excited to share them with everyone, because it might be something that you've already heard, but it might not be. So anyways, I was rushing through and filming this, and it was just a very empty study feeling. And then as I was filming also, I was having trouble with my camera so that I would think it was recording, and it actually wasn't recording anything. So there are sections of the video that are missing, and then other times where the camera is blurry so that you can't even read what's on the screen. And so I was having to go back and re-record that, and I have just run out of time. So I've just made a decision for my own sanity to divide this into sections, and it's just going to be what it's going to be. And I guess also because it is the holiday time, and so there's a lot of family stuff happening. So I'm just going to do just some little quicker videos, and you'll just have to bear with me as we go through this holiday season. So anyways, it's been exciting to have finished the notes for the book of Genesis. I'll say this process also has been overwhelming for me, not related to making videos, but just as I've moved notes over, because you have to go and look at all the other sections of the Bible, what you had written, and make sure, is this something that I want to add to this new Bible? And it's also an issue of notes being all over the place and just realizing, okay, I had notes over here, but actually they go up here, that kind of thing. So it's been a process, and at times I've thought where I've just wanted to give up, but also this excitement of rediscovering notes that I'd written. And just God is so powerful and amazing, and He loves us so much, and all those little nuggets that He puts in there to make it exciting. So as you can see, there's lots of spots where there's emptiness. There's lots of different views on that. Some people like to fill every inch, but it's just my philosophy of only getting down the notes that are essential to what I need, and knowing that later there's always more to learn. So there's room for notes. These tabs here are places where I have questions, where I need to come back and do something. So, and I'll share all of those as I go through this video series. So whole blank areas. So I'll just say this, and I'll probably say it as I go through it again, but as I had time, I underlined in red and then circled in yellow any of the ancestors of Christ. So here we see Leah and Jacob. Even though Rachel is the one that Jacob truly loved, Leah has that honor of being Christ's ancestor. So that's a neat place. And then also I have information on the order of the sons and what their names mean, because that comes up even in Revelation. So just more information on that. Questions that I have. Some different genealogies that I find. Here I have Psalm 105, 16 through 22, and that is a retelling of the story of Joseph. So I'd like to add that. So while I'm reading this, I can go to Psalm 105, and then in Psalm 105, 16 to 22, notating back to this section of the Bible, because those other sections in the Bible, as you read all of the Bible together, it can just deepen your understanding of what's happened. So lots of blank spaces. So I have to say my camera stand, it keeps shaking, and I'm not hitting it, so I don't know, I'm not sure why it keeps moving, but it keeps thinking that it needs to shake like right now. Oh, I'm hitting the wire to the microphone, that's why. So I'm going to be a little bit more careful about that. So again, there's this retelling of Jacob's sons. So off to the side, I've added notes on who they are and where they are in the genealogy. So like Reuben is the firstborn of Leah and the firstborn of Abraham. And then what his name means, behold a son. And then here's a simple little genealogy on that. And I followed that through all the way. And I can definitely share those notes in upcoming videos. And that is the end of the book of Genesis. So we'll be working our way through that, and my videos will just be different sections of notes. So until next time, be well and God bless.